Welcome to Day 5 of our virtual staff wellness event. Today's focus is Mental Health 101. The First Nations Mental Wellness Continuum Framework describes mental health wellness as the balance of the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. This balance is enriched as individuals have the following 4 things. 1. Purpose. Purpose in their daily lives, whether it's through education, employment, caregiving activities, or cultural ways of being and doing. 2. Hope. Hope for their future and those of their families that's grounded in a sense of identity, unique Indigenous values, and having a belief in spirit. 3. Belonging. A sense of belonging and connectedness within their families, to community, and to culture. And finally, 4. Meaning. A sense of meaning and an understanding of how their lives and those of their families and communities are part of creation and a rich history. We all have mental health, and our mental health falls on a spectrum which includes healthy, stressed, struggling, and crisis. It's important to remember that we're not always completely in the healthy range or completely in the crisis range. Our mental health moves along this spectrum as we move through life. It's also important that we have identified resources and supports ahead of time that we can use and access when we're in the struggling and crisis range to help move us back down to the green and orange range. We can think of our mental health in the same way we think about our physical health. We may be healthy and then have an accident, which requires us to access the emergency department, seek medical attention from a doctor, possibly have a cast, and physiotherapy. Over time, our bodies heal and we move back into the healthy range. The same can be true for our mental health. We may be generally mentally well and then experience some mental health distress that causes us to move into the struggling and crisis range. But with access to self-care, our family physicians, counseling, time in the outdoors or engaging in exercise, or at times medication and access to more intensive services, we eventually move back into the healthy and stressed range. Mental health really is your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, and changes to them. It's important to remember that some changes to our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions is completely normal and expected as we move along life. However, even more so as we work and live through a global pandemic. The pandemic has impacted each and every one of us, and it's likely that you can reflect on changes to your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions from March until now. So how do we know when our mental health has been impacted by too much change? When we experience signs and symptoms of mental health distress and of changes to our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that are high in frequency and intensity, that are long in duration, and that impact our daily functioning, is when we want to reach out for support. Remember this image? When we are experiencing mental health distress or changes to our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that keep us in the struggling and crisis range is when we want to reach out for additional support. If you are struggling and need support, please reach out to community mental health agencies or access our KPDSB website for outreach numbers. Take time today to reflect on your own mental health. Think about how your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions change when you're well versus when you are unwell. Being able to recognize changes in your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors is one of the best ways to support your own mental health and well-being. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our Mental Health 101 video. Stay tuned for Day 6 of our virtual staff wellness event.